We're starting Sefer Devarim and Shabbos Chazon, and this happens to be a very, very special time. Therefore, I want to address and speak something that Sefer Devarim, Parshas Devarim, speaks to us, I think, very personally at this time. In Perek Beis, Pasuk Tezayin, the Pasuk says, as all the warriors, everybody from 20 to 60 was finished. The end of the Gzeira of the 40 years in the Midbar, right? The Tekufa, the Midbar, is ending. And then the Pasuk says in Pasuk Chaf Daled, Hashem says to Moshe, Kumu, Se'u v'ivruas nachal Arnon, Rei nosati v'decha sichem melech amor v'sarto achel rosh v'yitzgar b'el machama. You should see, I've given into your hands Sichon, the king of Heshbon, the Amori, and his land. Begin to inherit it, begin to take over. Kosh Baruch Hu says to him, see. And Pasuk Chafei, Hashem says to him, today I have begun to put the awe of you and the Jewish people among all the nations. And a few psukim later, Pasuk Lamed Aleph, he says again, Re'ei, you should see, he hasn't battled them yet. He says, you should see, I've given Sichon into your hands. Continual discussion that Hashem is saying to Moshe, you should see this. What do you mean I should see it? Why is Hashem saying see it? When you do it, right? When it happens, you'll see it. What is this Hakdama that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is repeating and repeating to Moshe Rabbeinu? You should see this. Says Rav Cheskel Abramsky, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying to Moshe Rabbeinu, you have to recognize that you are beginning a new era. It's a new tekufa. Things are different than they've been before. Till now, it's been Dora Midbar. Dora Midbar is gone. The Gzeira that everybody's going to die in the Midbar is finished. And now you're starting a new chapter in history. And you have to see it. And you have to understand it. And you have to perceive and internalize, what does this mean? Because the way that you're going to relate to things is going to change. And changes now. Before anything has happened. You haven't begun your battle. But no, it's a new tekufa. This is a new stage. And therefore things are different. They're going to be different. And you have to approach them differently. What are the differences? The differences are, it's a different emunah. It's a different bitachon. It's a different way of looking at life. You can't just continue. When a person enters a new stage, you have to know how to think about it. Because your behavior has to be different. Pasuk says, who is Sichon? Sichon is Melech Heshbon. Og, Melech HaBashon, Asher Yoshev Bashtaros Be'edrei. Says the Sfas Emes back in Bamidbar. Sichon is Melech Heshbon. Heshbon is in the mind. Edrei is the Aramaic for Zeroah. The Dalet and the Zayin interchangeable. The arm. It says Tefillin Sharosh, Tefillin Shayad. What does that mean? What that means is Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah that Sichon is the same person as Arad. According to one pshat, Sichon is domeh l'sayach b'midbar. He's a wild donkey of the midbar. According to one, he's an arod, another type of a wild donkey in the midbar. There's something wild about him. He's very powerful. He's very thought out, but totally undisciplined, totally wild. And Og, Rav Chaim Vital writes in this parsha that Og has a spiritual connection to Eliezer Eved Avram. He shows a lot of connections of how he has the same type of kochot. So it's very interesting that it says, the Torah goes in to discuss over here. Moshe Rabbeinu says, Arso Eres Barzel. He says, no, Barzel means? It means that some of the kochot that come from Og refer to the 4 wives of Yaakov. Because Barzel is Rachel, Leah, Bila, and Zilpah. That's Barzel. There's the Osiris of those. There's something very spiritual about this Og. And it says it is Berabat B'nai Ammon. You know what Ammon is? It says, Ammon, says Rav Chaim Vital, is Noam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was saying to Moshe Rabbeinu, you're getting ready to do battle with 2 powers. One power is this wild power, and the other power stands for very many great things. But you know, they're both out to destroy Klal Yisrael. And therefore, Hashem is saying to Moshe Rabbeinu, recognize it's a different tekufa. You've got a different door. You've got a different job now. You have to be ready for these things, both physically and spiritually. Rabbosai, we are at a different stage. We are standing in a tekufa where the whole world is standing with bated breath. What's going to be the reaction? What's going to happen? Rabbosai, Aram is Sichon. Oh, they're smart. But they're wild. And we have enemies on the other side. And they're very disciplined and very nice and very cultured. Right? But not friends. All of Europe, not friends. Dire enemies. We're standing at a threshold. And we have to think about it. Because it's a threshold where there's nothing we can do except to daven. Because we don't know what to expect. Nobody knows what to expect. In such a situation, you're at a threshold. It requires a different emunah. It requires a different bitachon. It requires a different asiyas mitzvahs. Re'ei! Open your eyes. Recognize you're starting for a different tekufa. Things are happening. It's Erev Tisha B'Av. No coincidences. Re'eh. See it and recognize and act accordingly.